Welcome to Keith and the Girl. I'm Keith Malley.
I'm Chemda.
Steve C. writes, of course, you can rate us at info@keithandthegirl.com. He says, God damn. keithandthegirl.com/dad. And it's follow-up with Keith's brother Ken on VIP, Daddy Issues. God damn perfection. Wow, wow, wow. Thanks, Steve.
Oh, that is so good. Your life is such a mess that it is just like a series. It's a Netflix 6-part. What are those, like, docu-series where they just break it down? I can't wait until your Netflix show. Like, that's how loony your upbringing was.
I came across an old email from my dad, January this year. My mom is in an old age facility. She has dementia. She needs help. My dad can't help her anymore. He was going to go over and live with her. He tried, supposedly. We found out without him telling us. We found out that he could only last like 3 days.
Whatever that means. Like,
right.
3 days in a facility where they help you, they said, no, thank you. Like, you have to pay for this membership into the thing where they help you live your life.
Right.
And they said, yes, you're of age. Yes, you're qualified to be here, but not you.
He was too much. So he's in my childhood home, his place, by himself right now. But I saw an old email and it says what was going to be his new address. If any of you are using the old Somerset address for any reason, this is exactly how he talks. I strongly suggest that you correct that matter ASAP, or I have no idea where your mail will end up.
I'm so surprised he doesn't use words like heretofore.
He has.
Just throw it in. Just throw it in. Like, therefore art thou, whatever the fuck. Like, I'm smart.
The post office is supposed to forward all family mail to our new address, but I would not risk that if I were you. Can you imagine? I was 12.
I was going to say, imagine him like teaching you how to tie your shoelace.
Yes. There are 2 bunnies. We will meet them soon.
Bunnies have never been more psychotic than his stupid stories.
And then, of course, somebody would have said, oh, I hope you're doing okay with mom. And he wrote, thanks for your concern and prayers. I am sure that they are genuine and from the heart. We love you all. I choose to believe you when you say you wish my heart well. But I know Keith has fucked me before.
I'm sorry to interrupt,
with
Father
tricks.
Malley. This makes so much sense because we've been podcasting for 16 years and you've been talking more about your family recently, but you've always talked about your family, and your father has always said, stop talking about the family. And now you know why he said that. Because when you think about it, if you have kids and they're going to talk about you on a podcast, so what?
Right.
Like, why would you say don't do it? Why? Was I funny that day? Did I say something stupid? Go ahead and tell your friends and they'll retweet it. I don't give a shit.
So if you follow keithandthegirl.com/dad and the subsequent show, especially Daddy Issues, and I mentioned it on Keith and the Girl, I've written the family with that included. Look, I can't talk to this guy anymore. Being a weirdo, hitting on my ex-wife, et cetera, et cetera. It's too much. And then he was like, "Oh, you know what? I denounce Keith if he denounces me." So he stopped.
No, you hang up.
Right. So he stopped emailing me. Now he's doing it again. Now sometimes he'll include me, and sometimes he won't.
He is so bored. He has not one friend. Now your mother is not his prisoner, which is probably making her mentally healthier. So we're going to say that it's the facility, but it's really that he doesn't get to just say all his thoughts at her at any given moment. Now he's got to up the emails because nobody lives in or around like his house. And he's got not one friend. All of us growing up, like, we know a person who's come over who's like our father's good buddy or like a cousin that you call a friend or whatever. Your dad has none of that. You can't name one of his friends.
Not one.
Throughout decades of time.
Yeah.
Nobody he went to the priesthood with. Nobody he went to several colleges. I don't know what he graduated from. No, like no one he met at the. You live in a town where you know where everybody lives and everybody's name, and he goes to church every week and did not manage to make one friend.
Right. And I'll introduce our guests in a minute, but I see one of them making a sad face. And if I'm reading this right, please, audience, do not be confused. What is sad about that? That means you're a piece of shit.
That's sad.
That
Keith,
means you're
don't
a
be
piece.
as crazy. Don't be like a lunatic. This first you go through.
It means
sad.
you deserve it. It means you deserve it. Not, oh, life just made it so that you never made one friend. Look in a mirror.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, somehow when you're in it and you see why he doesn't have a friend, the word sad doesn't pop up. So the other day, my dad emailed me, and when he emails just one of us, I know in a different way, if not the exact same way, he emailed the kids separately.
Mm-hmm.
But he sent a picture of me and my mom just arms around each other many years ago, maybe 20 years ago, just outside, arms like behind each other's backs, and writes, "Those were the days. I thought that would never end.
Make America great again."
And then I send it to my siblings. I'm like, what was your those were the days? And they tell me, like, oh, it was me and mom this time. 4 a.m. He's like, let me try to get them. Like, just be genuine. Let us feel bad for you that you're alone now. You can't, there's nothing about you that can be human and normal.
You know what's sad is not only is that the one and only picture that he can find, I bet he couldn't find any of you guys with him.
Right. And then we got one on Sunday to each of us, but separately. Happy Palm Sunday.
Oh, face palm.
I acted like I was my ex-wife being interested in fucking you. You were definitely interested back. Happy Palm Sunday. Is that Happy Palm Sunday? Like, I mean, you can't shit on Palm Sunday. So what are you going to say back to that? Come on.
What the hell is Palm Sunday? Like a reminder that next week is Easter? They
put palms on the ground for Christ Jesus to walk, only to a few days later murder him.
Wow. So we take every symbol of his death, and when he comes back, he can see it all, not just the crucifix that crucified him to his death, but also the palms that he laid in that later turned on him. I love all the trauma we're going to rebring up for Jesus when he's back.
Son, you were very clear of what a shithead I was on your show for the last 16 years, but neither here nor there. Do you remember how you liked to take one of those big palms home from church? You enjoyed them so much. What are we talking about? So here, I got this email today for Good Friday. This one to everybody. It's called the subject, Good Friday. Before you start rolling your eyes, ... Now, most of us,
by the way, I've watched a lot of TED Talks, and most of the good ones start like that.
Before you begin rolling your eyes.
Yeah.
Most of the kids are religious, by the way. Out of us 5.
Believers.
Are believers? Most are believers. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know that I'd call them religious.
Before you start rolling your eyes, that first Good Friday, meaning when Jesus was crucified, gives us the opportunity to be forgiven of whatever is holding us back from attaining the peace of mind that we are created to enjoy. You tried to fuck my ex-wife. Combined with the realization that Jesus is the only begotten Son of the eternal Father, in parentheses, God, and he really still thinks we're kids that are shit in our drawers, and are baptized. And if we repent of our deliberate wrongdoings, we have the opportunity to be in paradise forever, where there is no pain, no sorrow, no sadness, no hunger, no thirst, no loneliness, no feelings of uselessness, just pure joy forever. I know me personally, Keith, my biggest joy is getting over a hurdle. You don't even have to do that in heaven. You just get the fucking joy like you beat something. It doesn't even have to make sense. You really end up stupid when you're in heaven. You're just, oh, duh, I'm happy. What are you happy about? Just am. I loved God, so I am. You have all been baptized. Thank you. The eternal joys await you. and are based on the above simple steps needed to be taken.
I have a question.
Taken. Yes.
I understand it's not okay to roll eyes. Is it okay that I fell asleep with my eyes open through part of that?
Is it okay you're a fucking Jew?
Oh, Jesus was a Jew.
But not like that. He didn't keep Jew. He became Christian.
Wasn't Good Friday the Passover Seder?
And weren't we all monkeys? If I go to a museum, they tell me I'm a monkey. Okay, I guess I am. I don't hate monkeys, but I don't throw my shit. Then he says, your parents created your body.
Ew.
Oh,
you don't have to say that.
Did ya? What'd you do to create my body, Dad? You gave up inside mom. We're praising you now? I gave her a solid 3. Your parents created your body, but it was God who created your immortal soul. But he will not save it without your cooperation with him. Blessed Good Friday. All right, just a little catch up. Wow. That's where we're at over here.
Wow. How could you not respond in kindness with such sincerity and a succinct thought? He thought about your time and the warmth that just, that you must miss Christmas and Easter at your parents' house, because
it is tempting to write back, blessed be, and whatever he writes back, write back, shut up. But I'm okay.
You restrained yourself.
I restrained.
Okay.
Dear Keith and Chemda, this person writes, Lewis in Memphis. Through this pandemic, you have been an amazing source of sanity and laughter. I don't think I could have made it through intact without your show. Thank you for sharing your lives and stories with us. I recently signed up for a gold VIP membership.
Yay!
Nice.
Oh, by the way, yay to that other stuff too. I just didn't want to keep interrupting. Yay.
Sure. And first, wow, the membership paid for itself right away. I tried a sample episode of every show you offer and can't decide which is better. So I've decided to by the way, Diamond Dogs are going to do an Easter special. I'm going to do another catch up with my brother Ken on daddy issues. Very excited. I tried a sample episode of every show you offer and can't decide which is better. So I've decided to listen to one episode of each show and work through the entire catalog. It's been a wild ride. Keith and the Girl VIP does not disappoint. That's why I want to become a lifetime member of VIP. My question is, do I have to wait until my membership needs to be up for renewal, or can I upgrade using my, quote, unused membership cash? Peace, love, and Keith and the Girl, Lewis. No, your member, what's the word? Prorated? So if you upgrade, whatever unused money towards your current membership goes towards the upgrade. It's pretty simple. So thank you, Lewis. Thank you for everybody that decided to be a VIP. And don't forget, and I'll talk more about this at the end of the show, make sure you get your Keith and the Girl week tickets for free as a VIP member, keithandthegirl.com/VIP. That's it. Keith and the Girl week starts in 2 weeks. So get your tickets and backstage passes today. It's free at keithandthegirl.com/VIP, or you can pay for them for some fucking reason at keithandthegirl.com/tickets. Okay. However you want to play it. All right. That's it. This person says, Blue Nova, I'm catching up on shows and just heard this one, Newsy Chew's latest. Being reminded that Keith's dad wanted to counsel him and at the time, his fiancee, Kat, on their sex life for marriage just adds another layer of disturbing behavior, knowing he was sexually interested in Kat.
Yes.
Yeah. Yes. It's called a pre-canna, and a priest sits you down like a therapist. And my dad said that. I'll talk to you and Kat about money, sex, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, no. Why not? Why wouldn't I talk to your fiancé about sex? Well, years later, we realized why, Dad.
Oh, I love that reminder. Ew.
Yeah. If Keith would have learned about 86ing much sooner, the person says.
Okay. That's a good point. Yeah.
May I real quick? This is classics from the great B. Jason. This is Not Cats in My Email.
You've got mail.
My son's ex-wife is a vibrant lass. She's one intelligent piece of ass. What dearest Keith was thinking is a mystery. So I think I'll email Ms. Lavery. It got hot before I knew it, but truth to tell, I can keep secrets very well, Cat. I can keep secrets very well. And not cats in my email with that Irish poon. I hope I get to see her in my inbox soon. But when am I gonna find out? I don't know when. That my son's on the other end. Man, my feeble mind couldn't comprehend.
You've got mail.
Now, the chants at the end, I swear, B. Jason says he's not, and he created it, but I swear that chanting priest goes, horny.
Honestly, like that's better than the original at this point. And there's been 2 versions of that. This is the 3rd. I'm in. This is all I can hear in my head when I hear that song now.
86 came up, that number, because Kat's fake email had 86 in it the year she was born, and he knew 86 was a dirty term.
Of course. He knows everything. That's what you learn in the priesthood.
Right. So B. Jason wrote this.
I got a jingle in the beat up. I'm a man of the Lord. Used to comfort the dying. Now I'm totes fucking bored. If you get tired of munching carpet, get a craving for dicks, send a ticket to Texas for some hot 86.
Ah, beautiful. Simple and beautiful. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen.
What a crazy introduction to our beautiful guests.
I know, right? Well, here they are. From the podcast, it's one of our favorites, and it needs to be one of yours. If it's not, you're doing yourself a disservice. From the podcast, Am I the Asshole? Danny Vega, Sara Levine. How you doing, Danny?
What a joy to be here. Don't start rolling your eyes. But that was an incredible intro there. Loved it. Love the music. Really, really talented listeners you guys have.
It's amazing, right? How you doing, Sara?
I'm doing a lot better now that I've heard that version of Cats in the Cradle. Wow. Mind blown. That was so good.
It really changes one of the greatest songs of all time, doesn't it?
Truly.
It's the real version. You know, we used to pretend like we were happy and dinner was on the table all warm and nice and everyone had their parts, but this is the real true story.
Right. Danny and Sara come on and they give us these Am I the Asshole questions. They take them from Reddit, right? From Reddit?
Yep.
The
listeners.
The popular site, and then they judge, hey, who is the asshole in this particular situation? And we've done it with them a couple times. I'm looking at when Danny was on before, episode 3257. It was called Danny is the Asshole. And that's when Danny tried to fake an Am I the Asshole? And he just asked the question about himself. And me thinking it was a random person, I was like, not only is this person wrong, did he just compare his company to Google? Why is he the fucking funny guy? Just do a job. You want to do an April Fool's joke? And in the beginning of a pandemic, this dumb piece of shit. And he's like, oh, it was me. And I'm like, oh, you're interesting. Okay. So, you know, that was a good time. Let me ask you this, Danny. It's a year later. I don't know if you know, there's still a pandemic. Did you do any April Fool's jokes?
No, we didn't. Nobody even talked about it. Nobody did nothing.
Okay.
Oh, the only one I even heard of was the Empire State one. That one was you could skydive off it, which I want to do it.
Who said that?
Well, I think the Empire State Building Twitter put it out.
The Empire State Building didn't put it out, did they?
No, they did not.
Somebody put it out. I don't know who.
Okay.
All right.
Let's not quote Danny. Okay.
But anytime a company tries something, it ends up fucked up. You know, like a Volkswagen. Well, you know what? I said it too. Volkswagen said, hey, we're going electric cars, and now we're legit changing our name to Volkswagen. And people said, okay, is it an April Fool's joke? Reporters asked. And they go, no, it's real. Then later had to say, no, it was a joke. And somehow that stupidity is affecting stock, this kind of thing. Like, what did you get out of it? What did you get out of it? By the way, wasn't that the cardinal rule? You never said it wasn't a joke if it was. Like, you got busted if they go, is this April Fool's?
But that's also like, that's not a law. Like, we know the law where you could say, hey, are you an undercover cop or are you a cop? And they have to say. Turns out you don't have to say anything.
Right. Michael Strahan He's like he's like Ryan Seacrest. He hosts everything, big on NFL, but also Good Morning America. And he's famous for having also no offense to his great skills of talking, but he has a big gap in his tooth. And I happen to see this where he got the gap fixed, for lack of a better word, and he had perfectly straight teeth. And I'm like, okay, actually, I think that looks better. Turns out it's an April Fool's joke
on him,
no.
and he didn't get. But meanwhile, people are like, yeah, it looks good.
Oh, that's not fair at all.
Wow.
That's not fair because
Played himself.
Right.
yeah, anytime you change your appearance, someone's going to go, it looks good. Why are you going to even bring it up other than saying it looks good?
But then this is what I wonder, because these things you do on April Fools are pretty loose. He got it done on March 30th. And then there's 31 days in March, to be clear. Then said, oh, it was an April Fool's. Do you think it wasn't an April Fool's joke? People shat on him for not being human. And then he's like, oh, it was an April Fool's joke? Like, then you wait for April 1st at least. Like, that's the challenge. Everybody's ready for you, but you try to trick them. That's the challenge.
Right.
You don't get a couple day leeway.
I do think that we also, if you're going to participate in April Fools, like, and call it a joke, I think you should know how to define joke. Because I don't see the punchline. I don't see, the fool is you. You went out of your way to do April Fool's wrong. Like, you're doing April Fool's wrong. You're not even getting it right. Like, April 20th, you're like, I forgot.
Right.
I got a nose job. Do you like me more or less? What?
He didn't try to trick you or anything this year, Danny, to you, Sarah, did he?
No.
Okay.
Right.
I'm not one for tricking. I got to learn about people and their habits and think about other people. I don't
Their
love to trick.
habits.
Like, I have to personally tailor the prank to you specifically.
It's a lot of work.
That's a good point. Yeah.
I was very badly burned. This might have been like a decade ago. Pizza Hut pretended to be Pasta Hut, and I think I saw the article like on April 9th, and I was like, oh, that's real. And then I told all my friends about Pasta Hut. I was like, yeah, it's going down. It's going to be Pasta Hut. And they were all like, you're an idiot.
I like, there's so many articles in our feed, and that's what Danny decides to share with his friends. Guys, hot take. Hold on. Have you heard it? Come on, hold your hat down because it's going to fly away. This is such a big,
yeah.
such big news.
Yeah.
I'm Danny.
Stop the funeral. It's Pasta Hut.
You shouldn't marry him. It's called Pasta Hut now.
Well, I had potential big. My girlfriend Kyle said yesterday she's pregnant, and I'm like, well, we'll talk about it in May. Nice try.
She didn't. That's
good.
not funny.
I'm not dealing with it. No, it's not funny. We'll talk in May. I'm busy right now. Did you see this, Chemda? Facebook is building an Instagram for kids under the age of 13.
Oh, thank God. Those kids are so bored with learning actual functions of their brains. Let's get them in there with pictures again. Back to kindergarten with you.
So I'm thinking, is this April Fool's? This is the dumbest fucking thing I've ever heard.
I think Facebook has been fooling us this whole time. So yeah, it's
Right.
always April Fool's there.
Put all the kids in one place. That am I a kid? Like, you have to hit a button. Like, am I a robot?
Yeah, just like, how do you do, fellow kids? Like, big
Right.
energy.
Executives at Instagram are planning to build a version of the popular photo sharing app that can be used by children under the age of 13.
That's got to be stupid.
But don't
Doesn't
you
seem like a good
lie.
idea at all.
Right.
No. Then I guess it is an April Fool because they're all bad ideas. If you go back listening to Keith and the Girl on April Fools, last time he did it, I told him in a very serious message to stop. But my brother has made me cry on April Fools more than one time. And I had to sincerely say it. I waited until it wasn't April 1st, I believe. And I was like, hey, this is a sincere text to you. You will not do this again. I'm not interested in this.
Yeah.
God.
Yeah. It was so
That's-
traumatizing. And it's something that, like, he'll tell me, like, he works behind the scenes on Keith and the Girl sometimes. And then he'll be like, hey, that thing that recurs your VIP members. It completely broke and we lost all members. But, you know, I'm sure we can get that back going. And I'm like, okay. One time he pretended to quit. He sent an email to me and Keith. He's like, listen, guys, I'm done. I don't know. I feel like I've done all I can do. And I'm like, okay, that's fine. That's fine. Everything's fine. And he's like, April Fool's, but he waits. He loves it.
And he sent the email at most, if it was even on that day, at like the end of that day. And I read it the next day when I thought the world could be trusted.
Oh no.
I didn't remember that part.
Yeah, no, it's you do it that day. The person has to receive it that day. It's supposed to be a simple, honest, pure thing.
When
fucking your friend.
When has April Fool's been fun for anybody?
Right.
I feel like there
Yeah.
was a fun time. I feel like brands used to do more the fake product thing, and Google would be like, we made Google for dogs. And then it's like a pretty convincing website. And you're like, oh, it's a funny concept. But now I feel like everyone's just like getting dissed and people are just like, this is fake, burn. Like nobody likes it. Like, did you guys see the Delaware thing they did on Twitter?
No, it's not a state.
Oh,
they
with
say they're seceding.
New Jersey or something?
Yeah. Delaware tweeted out like, and it was honestly like the most fair attempt at a joke I saw. They were like, Jersey and New York has merged to become New Delaware. And it was kind of cute, but everyone was like, whoa, whatever. And then New Jersey just tweeted, delete your account. And
So
that
funny.
went like 10 times more viral. So I feel like now if you're a brand, it's just like, shut up. You're just going to get owned by
Right.
But
somebody.
one, I like that states
Owned
are
by the state of New Jersey.
Yeah, well, some people are. One, I love that actual states are tweeting at us and we're talking about them like they're human beings. Hey, Jersey tweeted at me.
Yeah.
And two, it sounds like New York stayed out of it. And I think it's because we were like, whatever, man, fucking weed is legal here now. Have your jokes.
Right.
Have you seen those maps where it says like, hey, the most popular fast food in each state, and there's a picture of McDonald's or Arby's or whatever? I want to see a picture of all the states and what the faces look like of the people that tweet for that state. I just want to know. I just want to know what the three jerk-offs that rate for New York State look like.
Idaho, it's probably just the governor himself. He's like,
Right.
this is part of the role.
Right.
I just speak for Idaho.
Utah's a cat.
Yeah.
Hey, guys, it's Jersey here. Just wanted to tell you a little something about me today.
Mhm. All right. This is it. This is the big time. Danny and Sara are going to give us some Am I the Asshole predicaments.
Love
Chemda
it.
and I will solve the problems.
I'm excited for it. We're going to start off on a lighter note, and then we're going to get to a real heated battle.
Okay.
AITA.
Wait,
for-
Danny, just so you know, before the show, Danny promised that I would yell at him by the end of this. So that's what he's predicting with the Am I the Assholes that they pick. Okay. go ahead.
I feel good. AITA for refusing to stop putting out food for the ducks and geese in my neighborhood.
Ugh, already you.
No, that's not why you're the asshole. By the way, these assholes
He's
try to
done.
trick you on why they're the asshole. Oh, so I'm the asshole for trying to be too kind? No, asshole. You're the asshole for the asshole thing you did. You weren't supposed to be feeding the ducks and shit like that. There's signs not to do that. So am I an asshole if I stop? Like, do you still fuck kids on a bus? No, asshole. I know what you're asking.
That's from
What's
one
going
line.
on?
Right.
How do we get to fucking kids on a bus? Is that a reference to
Exactly.
something? Is that a reference to your dad
Exactly.
that I don't know? What just happened?
You know how they do. They try to trick us.
Okay.
I live in a northern climate and have always put out food for ducks and geese. I put
Okay.
out cracked corn, oats, and sometimes veggie scraps from
Okay.
my cooking.
Where?
geese
Like
eat
outside of your door or outside of like nature's door by a fucking pond? Because I don't think it's at your door for a reason. Continue.
I
with this
used to
asshole.
only do it during the winter when I know food can be scarce, but after a few years,
Oh, yeah, you studied ducks.
This was 5
.com.
paragraphs. Are we going to spend an hour just getting this thing out? After a few years, I started having ducks and geese come to my yard during the spring looking for
Okay.
food.
No shit.
So I started putting stuff out year round.
Yeah.
There's no regulations regarding this in the city where I live. And for the most part, I haven't had any problems with the neighbors.
Said
the
no
most part.
normal person ever. What are there's not regulations against it. Die. There's no regulations against it. Why can't I rate my son's X? X is an X last time I heard. What's the regulation about rating an X sexually?
Also, he said for the most part, he didn't have trouble with his neighbors.
Well, until recently.
Right.
So that was his little don't start
Okay.
rolling your eyes vibes. My next door neighbors, a family of 4, are selling their house. The housing market where we live has been crazy. Houses are selling fast and way more than the asking price. Except my neighbor's house has been on the market since before Christmas and still hasn't sold. Like the majority of houses in my neighborhood, it's an old 50s style Rambler that is in need of some work and updating, but it hasn't sold yet. My neighbors are blaming me for it. They say that whenever they have a showing or an open house, my yard is filled with ducks and geese and it turns off potential buyers.
Okay.
They angrily demanded, not asked, that I stop feeding the ducks and geese so that they can sell
Yes.
their home. I told them that their home not selling was not my problem and that I'd continue to put out food for the ducks and geese like I have. They said they're going to call the city and the cops. I said, go ahead. Sure enough, the city comes by. They asked some questions about the type of food I put out and asked me to prove that I was indeed putting out food suitable for them. Okay. They left satisfied with my answers and told me that I was doing nothing wrong according to city regulations. Last weekend, my neighbors had another open house, and as usual, my yard had a few ducks and geese in it. Like
What's
you
a
do.
few? Why
Fuck
don't you
you.
have numbers? Why aren't you giving me your numbers? Why? You don't know how many ducks and geese? Because I know that there could be 5, and that's depending on how big your property is, which you're not saying. That's might not be a lot, but are there 50 of them? And do you think that there's a difference between 5 and 50? Because if you don't even think there's a difference, we already started with a problem.
Yep.
Please, Danny, continue.
Sorry,
Keith,
but yes, of course, lack of detail is always the sign of an asshole.
No, I think you're onto something there. Few is masking. If you couldn't count them with an eyeball, that means what?
Right.
At least like 13. Like that's crazy. Less than usual, as there are plenty of food. There were less ducks in. There's a duck in the studio. Less than usual. There were less ducks than usual, as there are plenty of other food options available to them now, but maybe a dozen total birds. Did I not call that with the 13? That was clean.
Yes.
After the open house, the husband of the family came over and knocked on my door and started yelling that they had 2 potential buyers back out of deals because of me feeding the birds. He just kept yelling that it was my fault. They can't sell their house and that I'm an obstacle keeping them from moving.
Well, if people are actually saying that that's the obstacle, that might be a thing.
I was very uncomfortable at how aggressive he seemed. I told him he needed to leave my property or I was going to call the cops. He left, but he called me a bunch of names as he walked away, and the whole encounter left me rattled. I live alone, and feeding the birds is one of the few joys I have in my life.
Oh, no.
Because you don't have any friends because you're a bad person. That's your only joy for a reason.
Am I an asshole? Am I the asshole? That's it.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
I feel like we had this conversation like maybe last episode, Danny, but I was kind of saying that anyone who comes into an AITA being like, I've already looked up all the local ordinances and the laws and I'm not doing anything illegal.
Last time I checked, there are only 10 commandments. Get the fuck out of here.
Good. I didn't know I was going to be against everyone to start. I thought I was going to start with the second situation. I see you guys are a bunch of anti-duck people.
Well, how is it your only joy to bring random ducks by bribing them with food? If you went and fed the homeless, you might have a friend.
And like, why not go to the park? Why does this have to be on your front lawn?
Why not? It's a free country and he likes ducks and geese and it's his
What
right.
does free country mean, Danny?
It means that you can feed a duck. It means you can feed a duck.
That's what free country means?
Absolutely. If I went to a country and they're like, there is no feeding of ducks in this entire nation, I would be like, what kind of communist hellhole is this?
Danny feeds the ducks how often? When was the last time you went and fed ducks? It's your only joy.
There's no ducks near me, but I love and I love when I see the geese grazing, and that's true, by the way, that geese graze. I love to run through the geese and sort of create a lot of commotion in the geese community.
So you hate them.
You like to step in geese poop?
Yeah,
No, the
while they're
monkeys poop.
eating, you're shooing them away.
I
'cause
think it's beautiful when they all fly away. They hate flying. They're fat birds, so they like to run. But if you get close enough, they'll freak out and fly.
you're doing the opposite of feeding them. What are you
was
talking
this
about?
I'm playing with them. I'm enjoying them. They don't like it, but I do.
It's
let me
like
ask,
a one-sided game.
Right. Sarah, is Danny a
it's gonna
devil's
be.
advocate son of a bitch where you're like, I don't believe you mean this, Danny. And that's why I can respect
It's a very
you.
blurry line sometimes, to be
Right.
honest.
Right.
Guys, do we agree? Okay, this guy has the thing is this has reached almost like the hoarder equivalent, right? Like this is so far gone. Apparently there are 13 geese is a lot. I admit that. But can I get from you guys, if you have a handful of geese or ducks, isn't that fine? Don't I have a right to play with the duckies in my yard?
Why do none of your neighbors like you, Danny? That's
You-
that's of note. That's important in your paragraphs.
What does he say that none of the neighbors like him?
He has no joy. He has no friends.
Yeah, he's no friends. He doesn't
His
even have a
neighbors
pet.
are yelling at him. I don't want ducks
Also,
next to
No,
me.
you know what? No, Keith, because he says it was never a problem. It was never a problem
Until what?
recently. Everybody else is selling their house.
Until it was a
Until I had
problem.
to say something.
The one guy is pissed, and you got
This is your next door neighbor. And if I was looking for a house and I knew this guy wasn't playing ball with his next door neighbor that I'm about to be, I'm moving somewhere else.
Right.
Like there's another yard without a person deciding that I have ducks.
Yeah,
And
I
you
would
know
just not
he has
move next to
other-
the geese house.
Right. And you know he has
Yeah.
other neighbors too and didn't add it in the story. When I hate somebody and I'm only hearing their side, then I'm definitely right.
okay, fine. Look, let me back off the duck defense. Let's move to the other person.
Okay.
If you're trying to sell your home and there's other folks around you, duck fans, whatever, loud music players, it could be anything. This is no way to approach them. This is no way. This is an asshole move to go in yelling guns a-blazing.
You think they did?
That's what he
You
said.
think they came in and just started? Right, but do you think they did?
I do
That they
think
came in
so.
and went, "You're my property value," or do you think maybe they started nice? He said no, and they went, "I'm gonna have to insist." Actually,
I gotta say they might be somewhat frustrated already and looking for blame. So I will say that they might have come initially with an attitude. I don't give a fuck. You are the bad neighbor. You're the
Mhm.
bad neighbor. Why do you want to be that?
Yeah.
Why? I mean, I can blast my music until past 10, past midnight. I can do it. There is a neighbor who does it. What are you going to do to me? You're not doing anything, but I don't want to be the asshole neighbor. I am considerate. And if somebody said to me, what the fuck is this loud music? Maybe their anger is justified because what the fuck is this?
you need to start with at these AITAs. They should have to start with like, "Do you have friends?" Like, hey, I am 46. I have 4 friends, and I
Good
just
amount.
watched Falcon and the Winter Soldier. I have a few joys in my life, but with that said, and then begin your stupid point.
Can I say though, what if OP's old? What if they're an old person? You know, all their friends died. Like we don't know that they're.
Then
a
he would have
terrible-
added that for sympathy. Hey, I'm
You're
86,
probably
and all I
right.
like to do is anything, any of your made up devil's advocate bullshit. They would have added in the email. What if
Devil's
they? What if
advocate?
they're on? What if it's a hospice care that he's in? What, Danny? Are they in hospice care, Danny?
Keith, you are. I don't know what happened to you and ducks. Maybe your father approached you with a duck and it.
I
bit you,
wish.
So there's a trauma.
I wish.
I think I want to live in an America where somebody can have a handful of ducks. I agree. This guy is going too far with it having 13 ducks. That's too many. That is too many.
Then that's
ducks.
it.
Then that's
There's
it.
no other scenario
Exactly.
other
But
than
what I'm
this
trying to
one.
tell you people.
You're making up a new scenario.
No,
Right.
I'm not making up a new scenario.
Well,
What
could
I'm
I have
saying
one
is-
duck in a tuxedo? Yes, Danny. You can have one duck in a tuxedo.
duck.
You can't have 13 next to my house looking up
look,
ordinances.
I'm ready to give you that the person is an asshole for their duck
Get
thing.
done!
Fine, I'll give it to you. But
Thank
I'm
you.
also saying that they're an asshole. The neighbor is an asshole for how they approach the situation. I think Chemda is 100% right. They came at them with some frustration because losing a house buyer is a huge deal.
It doesn't matter because like I said, if my neighbor knocked on my door with strength and then I opened it and they were like, what the fuck is this music? I can't sleep. I don't go, well, if you said it nicely, I'm already
Right.
doing something not nice.
But
I'm blasting the
ducks.
music.
This is ducks. This is not loud music. This is
Yeah, but like ducks are quacking, the geese are fucking honking, probably shitting in people's yards.
That's loud.
There's a reason people don't do this.
I'm gonna push back heavily here. I run into my geese. I've run into the geese. They're not honkers. They're quiet animals.
Okay. Yeah. I'm going to for the rest of the podcast, Keith is going to keep honking and we'll see if it affects our fucking lives.
Watch it not affect me. I can handle it.
Yeah.
His honker is broken. His honker's broken. The butcher of baklava, a Redditor here, top Reddit comments, writes, everyone sucks here. The way your neighbor handled the situation was wrong. From a wildlife perspective, you should not make what sounds like a horde of geese dependent on you for survival.
Yes.
That's a problem from an ecological perspective.
Thank you.
When you said a few geese, I thought you meant like 5. If 12 is a small amount, then that's a problem.
Right.
Yeah.
It's a huge problem.
And I mean, we have to take these liars at their word, sure, but 13, then it was even more. Or did he really count 13? I'm going to be honest. There were 13.
And there's 13 every day. And you told us the highest amount.
Right.
Okay.
So, but you guys aren't going to come with me at all to say that this isn't
Please,
everyone.
I am watching How to Get Away with Murder. And now I not only know how to get away with murder, all the lesser crimes, they're fucking nothing. I know how to beat the system at this point. I'm on a fucking private jet plane to fix my life. Don't worry about it. People know what I'm talking about.
I feel you're going to murder me now when in the next situation.
I can get away with it.
There's a
I'm
way.
just like, what's a little manslaughter? It's nothing.
I don't know what that has to do with the ducks, but she probably has a point.
But I feel like she's onto something that, like, if someone is doing something asshole-ish, it's not incumbent on the person who's sort of like the victim of that to ask them nicely to not do that thing.
Yeah,
I agree with that. Well, no, I 100%.
What is, by the way, also what is asking nicely? First, something like this. Can you please not be an asshole to me? Like, what tone should I bring to you to ask you to stop being a fucking asshole?
Okay, I'm with you on loud music, Chemda. Everyone knows if you're blasting loud music at 2 a.m., you're an asshole. You know people sleep.
How about the bagpipes? How about the bagpipes?
I'm with you on bagpipes.
Okay, then how about duck noise?
Because you're rounding up. Ducks are not loud. Ducks are not loud. That's crazy.
We had ducks at my summer camp. They're quacking all the time.
They're an occasional quack, but nobody's ever been like, can the ducks shut up? Like, that's not a problem.
Have you been around? I'm serious. Have you been around like a group of ducks? They are
quack, but they're like
they
tiny dogs. Noise. They don't make that much noise. It's not even as loud
tiny
as
dogs are the worst.
You're wrong. Yeah.
All right.
Have you been around dogs, Danny? Well, we're going to get to the bottom of this.
I love dogs and I love ducks.
If your neighbor's dogs barked even a little bit throughout the day, but constant, that's fun.
But see, you're adding in things. You're saying it's constant. You're saying it's all these things. He's saying he feeds the ducks. They come by. The ducks come by. The geese graze and they leave.
And then when he doesn't
more
give
ducks
them food, they come by and they just, quietly hope that they're going to get food.
I feel that there still was a way.
Well, feelings aren't facts.
Okay, Ben Shapiro, back off me. They, this could have been approached in a decent way. Like, okay, yes, if it's 2 a.m., you get woken up, but like, you've got to acknowledge this is what I want the neighbor to is acknowledge like he does have a right. This person does have a right to engage with some ducks. It's America.
Hello, Danny. I'm your neighbor.
Yeah, but this is not. Am I legally allowed?
Right. I want to first acknowledge your right
am I the
to
asshole?
have ducks. I have called the borough, and they said they came down and checked your food, and it seems adequate. So I want you to know that I know you're following the local laws, and that is appreciated and respected. With that said, if you don't get rid of these fucking ducks, I'm going to shove your head up your own asshole like a pretzel. That's the way you should have done it.
That's
because you have to acknowledge what's happening and then add that you're serious. Instead, what? These people that they're like, I wouldn't mind if you, and what gets done? Nothing. They're walked all over. No, you got to come in there like you mean it right away.
I'm also watching Sherlock, so I know how to pay attention to these details, and you can't get away with this.
All right, looks like nobody's coming with me. That's fine. AITA for refusing to stop
feed the ducks.
Putting out food for ducks. We disagree. You guys all think this is YTA. I say it's everyone sucks here. And reach out to me if you're a duck fan. My Twitter handle is @holyduck. How about that?
I don't even.
So this is why
now
you're on
we
this
know.
person's
Oh,
side.
because Danny's iPhone fucked up. He was gonna write "Holy fuck," and now he's gotta fucking stick to the stupid brand because iPhone got you.
Oh wow! I actually paid for the handle, so now I feel like a real idiot.
Well, you are the asshole.
You're the asshole. Are we already done with 2? Danny's the asshole and the duck guy's an asshole.
Oh boy. Okay, I didn't know we were gonna fight about that one. Well, here we go. AITA for asking for a different salesperson because the one that was helping me was too hot.
Can't wait for this one.
Yes, I'm just watching Chemda. I'm just watching Chemda to see what happens.
You wrote that. You wrote that.
I
She's
did
like
not
planning
write
to
it.
murder
Not
already
you.
in your
Not
head.
you.
In her head.
I am talking to this person. He wrote that in.
Right. Follow me, guys. I mean, hot as fuck. Oh, go ahead, Danny. I don't mean to guess.
I was looking
Good.
to buy a car from a dealership, and the salesperson that happened to see me first was a very attractive woman that also happened to be dressed a bit provocatively. Not unprofessionally. I just personally considered it too much. Now, I generally don't do well with
Then
people.
how is it professional? Okay, go ahead.
Right.
I generally don't do well with people who are so attractive. They make me very uncomfortable, but I decided to give her a chance. I told her what I was
Give
looking
her a chance, by the way. You know what I mean? But okay, go ahead.
By the way, so far, like I don't like what he's writing, but I'm on his side so far. Because so far,
okay, good.
everything that he is saying is meant to be used in order to negotiate a car later. So if you're good looking, if this guy finds you good looking, and if you're upping that, which I think salespeople do, they make sure that they're the most good looking because part of their sales is the way they look. If he can't handle it, that's a different problem for a different day. I think it's okay to ask for a salesperson that he's not going to get mixed up about, that he will only talk about numbers because this guy knows that he will hand money to hot girls. I'm sorry, but that's like a personality. That there are people who do that. Yes, Danny. Ugh, I'm on Danny's side. Just hang up. Hang up.
I can't believe this.
Okay, keep going.
Do you want to end it there or keep going, Danny?
Yeah, no, let's just stop.
Just take the win.
We agree then. Let's move on. I told her what I was looking for, and she showed me some models they had. This whole thing took 20 minutes until I decided this wasn't a person with whom I wanted to negotiate to buy a car. So I asked her if it was possible to see someone else to help me. She said she was working on commission and asked for the reason. I told her I can understand, and
But that's a tactic also. Don't ask me the reason. Everything that you're doing is selling to me, and just give me the next person. I know you work on commission. Leave me alone.
Don't I have to tell my boss like why? And I just sound like an idiot going, I don't know.
No, these are all sales techniques.
Yes.
These are all sales techniques. They're all meant for you to feel bad and for you to not be confrontational and just take the loss. So everything that's coming out of her mouth, his mouth, their mouth, whatever it is a sales technique, and it's all meant for you to fuck up.
I'm going to write my own little song for Chemda. This is amazing. Okay. He apologizes for wasting her time. He didn't want to tell her the real reason why I was asking for the change to get a new. So I chose not to answer the question. She said that it's no problem, but that she as a professional would like to know that what she did so as to avoid repeating the same mistake in the future.
Oh, well, why don't you ask your boss? I'm here to buy a car, not to fill out some fucking feedback thing.
I love Chemda.
Whoa.
I could see no way out, and it was a fair request, so I told her as politely as I could. She was too attractive, dressed too revealingly, and that made me uncomfortable with her.
Yay.
I could see that annoyed her, but she chose to take it in stride and said she'll take that, quote unquote, as a compliment. And then she tried to convince me to let her show me some other models. I stood fast. I told her I really would prefer to see someone else and apologize again. Her face hardened. She said that she'd go fetch someone, but before she left, she looked at me aggressively and told me that I don't have to apologize because this isn't the first and it won't be the last time she's losing a commission due to sexism. Was I the asshole here? I realized that the reason I gave her was maybe controversial, but she asked for the truth and I was polite. I tried not to insult her, but she chose to see sexism for some reason. AITA.
Whatever. It doesn't matter if it's sexism or not. It is what it is. Like she's using sexism too. Maybe, I don't know, because this idiot is the one describing her. So I don't know what tone she actually took. He sounds a little whatever. But I have been duped, like when I was younger, and I don't know how old he is, but I know sometimes people don't get over it. You even like talking to a dude, it like throws me off. It threw me off. Then I got used to it a little bit more. But now if I was attracted to someone, it still threw me off and I would make decisions poorly.
Yes.
And I've gotten out of that, but I don't think that salespeople are not taking that into consideration, and whether he's sexist also in this particular space, he gets to pick a salesperson.
I love this. I love this. This is what I've been trying to tell me. People are telling me that this is sexism, that it's made of sexism. And I've been saying, no, this is made of attraction, which is something you cannot control. And it's a very powerful force.
You can control it. You can control it. And he's definitely not taking any responsibility for, whatever he could do to not fall for that bullshit, but it is a sales tactic, and you're talking to a salesperson.
You told me, you just said right there, you said I got better at it over time. I agree, you can get better at it, but there was a time when you said you would feel vulnerable with a man, right?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm so relieved. I'm ready to like rip this and put this on our podcast so people can know that I'm right.
Like, what's happened today? I'm stunned.
But I do, and this is my third.
I'm stunned. We got mad about the geese and not about this. The promises have been broken.
But I put a lot of thought into this. This is my third time doing this situation, and that's how much we love this situation, and everyone hates me. But if you were uncomfortable with someone because of their race, that would be a different animal, because that discomfort is made of racism. So you're instantly an asshole. Right? It's like, you got to work that out with you if you're uncomfortable with someone of a different race. But this is attraction. This is biological. This is wiring. That's not taught. So that's why I think that he isn't automatically an asshole for that. For the discomfort.
I see what you're saying. I don't think I would compare it. I'm not saying that I'm not letting this guy off on sexism. I'm not saying he's not a sexist. I'm saying that's not the issue. Sure. He speaks like he's a sexist. He explains but he also could be explaining right. The way that she turned on him, like in real life, yes, it would be sexist. You probably said something stupid and she's getting you off for her, and you just think she's mean mommy. But in this, you are attracted to her. That's going to skew your money right now.
Yes. But
what do you do? But now people go to, what do you do if you're in a boardroom and you have to negotiate with someone who you are attracted to? That's on you. So I understand why people would get mad at that, because in every situation in life, you have to control that. Otherwise, you are coming from a, I guess, sexist perspective. If he was attracted to a dude and that dude was hot, what do you do in the boardroom? What do you do when... Well,
not everyone is cut off.
I find a car lot specifically so specific.
Yes.
And evil, and it's us against them. That, to me, it is separate. And I understand why people could think it's the same, but to me, it's separate than any literal other situation. Separate than a waiter/waitress, separate than working with somebody in a boardroom or making some kind of business deal where everybody wants the upper hand.
Or buying a
car lot specifically is so different to me.
You know what that is? And I don't know. Like, I feel like I felt that, but I didn't know. And you just put words to exactly right. Because I'm like, am I being sexist? But it is so different. It's like going into a lion's cage to go in there.
Yeah.
They're predators, and they will get you, and you will leave. You went in to get a 2014 Prius, and you're leaving with a Denali Sierra. You know what I mean? You just got screwed. Like, that's what these people do, and they're masters at it. And
so this specific, it's site specific, I think, but I want to hear what Sara has to say, because I usually agree with her all the way.
Oh my God. I know. I'm truly stunned. I mean, I guess
I will drop this just to not be friends with Danny and be friends with you. Please help me out.
I guess the only time I sort of bought a car, I was with my dad. Also, we were leasing the car, and it was a very straightforward interaction. It was like, we're getting a Corolla. That's it. And there was really no finessing. It was very a straightforward instance. So I don't really have any experience with this car situation. So, I mean, I felt like the guy was being a dick, and it was just like, if you really can't trust yourself around a person who is hot, then what are you supposed to do? And I don't understand how that's like a thing.
The explaining to me, that's the weird part. Just get in your car and come back tomorrow. That's to me, that's weird.
So Go ahead, Sarah.
No, I mean, that's, yeah. And like he tried for 20 minutes and then was like,
20
no,
minutes
you're
is a
just
long
too
time.
hot. I can't
20 minutes is a long
resist your feminine wiles. And I was like, okay, this is,
I get it. I think it's disappointing, but like Keith said, this is so site specific. The other thing is at a gym. You ever signed up to a gym? Because if you haven't experienced the car thing, you might have experienced the gym thing where they write down a number, they cross it off, they circle another number, they go around, plus you get extra this thing. So let me write that down. You would think that you would pay this, but you're not going to pay it. And you want to look like me and you know how you look. So here, let me write that down. And then in 5 weeks, you can be over here. And then all of that. And it sounds like $10 a month. And it turns out it's 110. So it's that kind of site specific.
I think a dealership. So going back to the leave and come back, I think it's a high bar. I think it's a big ask to ask him to leave or to leave and then come back to her again, which was a solution someone proposed. I think it's very generous if he did do that, but not mandatory. But a listener pointed.
Yeah, you allotted that day, and now you're just for lack of confrontation, you're asked to leave. Yeah. I mean,
a listener pointed this out to me, and I thought this was pretty on point. That she said that women in general are a little bit more socially savvy. They have a better sense of etiquette, and she proposed, just lying. This is the great situation to lie, and that's what Sara has brought me on board. That the problem here was being too honest because that was hurtful to her and it was unnecessary, and.
It was also like she was dressed. It wasn't like she was wearing a crop top to work. Like he admits she was dressed.
No, that's his fault.
Professionally or whatever. So I'm just kind of like, what does that actually mean?
Could be tight. I mean, look, it could have been an attractive look. Well, and I love the example of the boardroom because the reality is that most people are not cut out for the boardroom, and that's a situation that
he's wrong about that. He's probably wrong about what she's wearing because what he's describing doesn't match any of the detail. He's like from one word to the opposite word. She was professional but provocative.
It was professional, but too much. You guys know what I mean.
It's too much for him.
That's why I was just like, well, what is enough? She turtleneck.
He's wrong. He's wrong about that. But she's wrong for going, why don't you tell me? I see that you're uncomfortable, even though you're buying this. It's a very vulnerable spot. You're about to spend $10,000, $20,000, $30,000, $40,000, $50,000. You have to explain it to me is a tactic.
Yes.
People who act confused in a totally clear situation where they ask you for more information in order for you to start explaining yourself to them about things that don't matter. It didn't matter. That was a tactic, and that is a sales tactic. So it's hard to be on her side. I'm not on his side with what she was wearing. He would probably describe her in a teddy when she's wearing a full suit. I totally get that. It doesn't lack sexism, but it also is.
So I'm not sure where
you
sit though, Chemda. Are you ready to go that everyone sucks here? Is that what you're saying? That the saleswoman was an asshole for pressing him so hard?
The saleswoman was an ass. I think like it's a do-over day. Both of you shouldn't talk to each other. And I guess both assholes. Keith,
I'm good with both people being assholes. It's yes, everybody should just stand up and say what they want, but that's a weird fucking thing. Like, I think you're too. Then how do you even buy a car then? Like in my head. Yeah, I'm talking to a different person, but she's obviously still walking around. Now she's talking to another customer, and I see you on the corner of my eye, but I'll pretend you're not there and make this deal. Just get the fuck out of there for that day. That's what I would do. That you just made such a weird situation. But I don't have a problem with him not wanting to work with her for that reason. There's no story that starts, well, the car dealership, and I'm like, well, they're definitely not the asshole. Car dealership done, asshole. But yeah, you can put me down with everybody's the asshole.
Wow, Sara, this is number 2 for us. You gonna come on board?
I know. Yeah, I guess I can come on board because now I feel like Chemda sold me on the sales tactics, and now I'm not sure if I've been duped into being duped.
You were duped, Sara. Your story about the simple car transaction, your family is in financial ruin.
Yeah, right. My lease Corolla.
I think, you might have were supposed to negotiate, because I've never went to a car dealership and took the first price, even though I don't like haggling. I don't like it. And also the reason why we bring our parents is because even though we're adults, this is an even older adult decision because you're going to get that much. You have to fill out paperwork. They're checking with your bank. They're checking with, like, this is such adult stuff. And they're so known. Like Keith said, you don't start a story with, I was at the car dealership and, you know, everything went smooth and in my way. I've
had a few friends that, and not 13, but a few friends that worked at car dealerships. And I knew these people well. And they would brag about how they screwed over the other guy. I never had a friend that worked at a car dealership that wasn't proud of the hustle. And there's no part of me that could ever be like that. It's very strange.
There are things on YouTube that say how to not get fucked over, like how to really remember we used to kick tires. Right. They had to teach us you look like an amateur when you're kicking tires, and these vultures are going to notice that you are an amateur, and they have all these tactics to get you on the price because you're pretending what they know.
Rust proofing is bullshit. This kind of thing. It's a scam. It's a game, and you think you got to play it.
And that's a reflection too of the commission-based pay is that they're incentivized to screw you as much as possible. They don't care if you walk away happy with what you bought a week from now. They want.
I love the idea of that Saturn car company. It's like, you can't negotiate with us. We're going to be fair. Now, they're not in business. I'm not sure why. Do people like the game? I don't know. But I love the idea. I'm like, good.
What was the thing that Danny, you just said? I wish I could rewind your face.
That they're incentivized to screw you over. It's their job to screw you.
Yeah. Why did she tell him that she works on commission? That's behind the scenes shit. That's another tactic to make you feel like a piece of shit. These are all tactics. Right. Why would you tell someone you work on a commission base? What does he have to do with your pay and salary?
Yeah, that'd be like being like, you're at your job and you're just like, well, I'm a salaried employee. They're like, okay, we all are.
I don't have to do this because don't tell me why you don't have to do it. You're a salesperson. Everything that you're saying is a tactic.
Look at this beautiful car. Also, I'd like to eat today. But what you'll notice about the
hood. So shockingly, do we agree? I think we all agree. Sara, ATA for asking for a different salesperson because she was too hot.
You know what? We might all agree, but me and Sara will still kill you both if you step out of line. Okay? Does that make you feel better?
True.
That's very fair.
I also don't like this guy. And I want that on the record.
Man, he's a pathetic man. If this was Am I the Pathetic, 100%. So I wanted to do something kind of fun. We play a game called Assholes At, where we just list assholes at a certain place. Are you guys down for a little gaming?
You know.
Yeah, of course.
Here we go. Let's do Assholes at the Park.
Oh my God.
I'm the
kid who just runs in the middle of my picnic blanket, and the parents who just don't say shit.
Yes. Amen. The duck feeder.
Oh boy, I knew it was coming. The guy blasting like really aggressive music, like metal, really loudly, and you're like, "Why are you here? Isn't there a garage you can be hanging out in? What's going on?"
Anybody that's a car salesman that happens to be at the park.
the talk too loud about like overly dramatic stuff where if you listen in because you don't have to, you're talking too loud, it's actually a boring story. So if you're going to talk loud, please make it actually interesting and not the tone of interesting.
There's a pandemic. Everybody.
The guy who's running shirtless when it's 40 degrees out, showing off his goods. It's me. Is that
I'm you?
The
Ooh,
there was by goods, I mean dick.
There was a guy at the park one time at Central Park, right in front of that big pond, and kind of in a little spot where it's a little hidden, but everyone's coming through. He was in a G-string only, got up once while we were there to go into the bushes. We thought he was peeing because he was there for a long. He brought lunch, he brought drinks, he bought wine, all of it. Went in, came back with a bag of his pee. So I'm going to say like he did everything right, but like it was so memorable. I had to share it here. He's not an asshole, but like
so polite.
What's happening?
He's an icon. Oh my gosh.
I'm going to lose everyone here, but the people who walk on the track, why are you walking on the track is for running. Go around. There's walking paths for the little walkers. Let us
hear that? Danny thinks 80-year-olds who want to exercise are being the asshole.
Yeah, disagree. I'm with Sara on that. But I will say the walking on the bike path. Oh, because you're holding your bike. So you're allowed on the bike. You're walking your bike, so now you're in the way.
Right. What about just the couple who's making out?
Yeah.
Oh, that's me. I love it.
Yeah, I don't mind that.
I will make out wherever. I don't care.
One
It's
of
your
my
boyfriend already, Sarah.
one of my first memories like of sexuality, I must have been like 9 years old, was I saw a couple at the park under a Ramada, and he was like fingering her, like, but they were knee to knee. It like really didn't make sense at all.
Also, what is a
A
Ramada?
Ramada is like a
Am I
little
dumb?
4-column with like a metal roof. I don't know what buildings are.
All right.
Oh,
It's
I
a
thought the
hotel.
hotel. Yeah.
Gazebo.
Danny was
Maybe it's-
in the
they
hotel
call it a
room
gazebo.
spying.
What was that, Sarah?
Said he was in the hotel room spying.
Right,
As this guy
right.
fingered some girl.
Yeah. That's a
That's a
person's
lot.
room, Danny. Yeah. All right, let's get to the big controversy, Danny.
That was it. We did it.
Oh, that was it? You were nervous about that one? Yeah, we were fine.
That was
I thought
fair.
Chemda was gonna hate me and she was gonna call me a sexist. So that's it. We did it. And actually Chemda agrees with me, but still threatened to kill me. So in a way, I was right.
I just want you to be right. I want you to feel good.
All right, well, let me mention this, please. Get ready, everybody. Are you ready? This Keith and the Girl week is so hot. It's burning. It's on fucking fire. You would be stupid to miss this. And I'm serious. Can you say that nowadays? Get yourself a Keith and the Girl VIP account and get tickets to all of Keith and the Girl week events free. Who's going to be there other than you? Me, Chemda, Gilbert Gottfried, Doug Benson, Kevin Allison, Ophira Eisenberg, Mike Lawrence, Lacey Goranson. You know her, Becky from the show Roseanne. So many more. I can't name them all. Get tickets and information at keithandthegirl.com/tickets or get yourself a VIP account. Get them all for free. Not to mention, but yeah, it's my birthday. Show up. Join us for Keith and the Girl week. If you get your tickets now, you still have the option for virtual backstage tickets. That's always fun. Seeing people struggling to get set up, that kind of thing. Limited tickets available. So keithandthegirl.com/tickets or keithandthegirl.com/VIP, and we will see you there. Meanwhile, download the podcast, AITApod.com, and you'll see it wherever podcasts are. Am I the Asshole? The podcast. These people do a fantastic job. Follow Danny on TikTok, Danny Vega Comedy.
Oh, fucking the TikTok.
Am I right or wrong?
That's 100% right, sir.
Right.
Yeah, that's right. Insta and Twitter, you can follow Sarah at Sarah F. Carter.
Actually changed it. It's Sara Levine, L-E meme. Sorry, Keith.
Keith is ripping up his paper. It's very dramatic.
Okay, so
Very
go
dramatic.
there. All right.
Keith, your ripping of paper became music to Zoom, and it quieted your rip of paper. So
that's funny. I do
yeah,
it with a melody.
that's so weird. Guys, you are the greatest, and your show is the greatest. And I hope everybody listens to it because they're doing themselves a favor. Thank you for being here. Thank you for listening, everybody. Don't be an asshole. Goodbye.